This afternoon, the market placed $200 million COVID-19 loan from the World Bank to be disbursed under strict conditions to prevent abuse of funds. Also, Bank of Ghana issues warning to those buying or selling foreign currency to or from unlicensed persons or entities, saying it is prohibited by law. Plus, the African Continental Free Trade Agreement is 6 years, 6 months old. Already, the diplomatic community has expressed deep interest in the partnership and investment into this pact. We'll hear from the ambassadors from the U.S. and Germany.
Of course, it helps burnish Ghana's credentials as the gateway to Africa.
We have seen a lot of German global players, global companies coming to Ghana, opening their regional offices for West Africa. So this is very promising.
We have all these coming up shortly after this break. To stay. You're welcome back. The $200 million COVID-19 loan from the World Bank will come with strict disbursement to check any abuse. This is what Joy Business has picked up from the World Bank in Washington, D.C. George Rafi has more in this report.
The World Bank argues that these measures will ensure that the drawdowns are done only after it has approved the whole purchase plan. Sources say government cannot use the funds to purchase the Sputnik V vaccines. Therefore, one is not sure what kind of vaccine government can go ahead and purchase, looking at the current shortages on the international market. The bank also says that there will be a post-disbursement review to ensure that the purchases are made under the best international practice or standards. Officials of the World Bank argue that Ghana could be surcharged if it fails to fully comply with conditions covering the disbursement of the loan. It is, however, assuring Ghanaians that the necessary measures are in place to ensure that the funds are used for its intended purposes. We are learning that the World Bank could also approve new loans for Ghana to aid in the purchases of more COVID-19 vaccines.
Now, the Ministry of Communication and Digitalisation is leading the agenda to create a business environment with secure credit profiles and other valuable data of consumers to enable reduced credit risk and cost of credit for economic development. Now, this is part of the digitalisation evolution and will be done through the National Identification Card and the upcoming SIM card re-registration. There is more.
Such a vision may in the future help consumers buy or shop on credit as applicable in highly advanced economies. Speaking on behalf of the Communications Minister, Chief Director Magdalena Penton said this is the true building block for the realization of the Ghanaian dream and unleashing the growth of startups. She disclosed this at the quarterly Stanbic Bank Graphic Business Breakfast meeting here in Accra.
Ladies and gentlemen, by making the Ghana card national ID the TIN number, we have increased the number of people with TIN numbers from 750,000 in 2016 to 15.5 million today. Also, making the national ID the SNIT number, we have increased the number of people with SNIT numbers from 3 million to 15.5 million. The national health insurance number is now the Ghana card number. The digitization of the births and deaths registry is about 80% complete. Ghana Investment Fund for Electronic Communications, GIFEC, an agency under my ministry, has embarked on a rural telephony project, which is aimed at closing the void created by mobile network operators' inability to extend coverage to communities with populations below 1,000 for commercial and economic purposes. GIFEC, as part of this mandate, is implementing this project in order to provide voice and data services to unconnected communities in Ghana. 400 communities have since benefited within 2 years, with over 600,000 people connected. Under this project, over 82 community information centers have also been connected to the internet. The government of Ghana has also recognized the digital skills gap, particularly girls and the marginalized groups, and has embarked on several interventions to address this issue and create opportunities for young people. And GIFEC is leading the implementation of a digital skills program that will provide about 14,000 citizens with job-ready digital skills. in particular, entrepreneurs, pupils, teachers, and marginalized groups through 200 centers across the country.
Madam Apentin said the government has made significant progress on cybersecurity development. She said the government will continue to work with stakeholders locally and internationally to scale up cybersecurity efforts.
Under the Ghana Cares Obatampa program too, we will consolidate all government fiber assets held in various MDAs like ECG, Gridco, NITA, the road and railway sector to a robust, resilient digital infrastructure to provide services to all public sector agencies, link educational, health, security, industrial, agricultural, and local governance installations around the country, and lease excess capacity to the private sector. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to link all these systems to make it possible to analyze the data for planning purposes, build linked systems to provide better services to citizens, and facilitate easy retrieval of information and make anonymized data available to researchers and for other purposes including enhanced security.
Managing Director of Stanbic Bank Ghana, Kwamina Asmini, called for the cultivation of digitalization since the world has evolved with digitization as the key driver of economic growth.
It is in this continuous search for an antidote to barriers to the Ghanaian dream that drives us all to consider the opportunities that digitization holds. At this point, let me commend the government and specifically Vice President Dr. Mohamed Bawumia for the efforts made at digitizing and formalizing the Ghanaian economy through the National Digital Property Addressing System and the National Identification Project. We also have our colleagues from the telcos who have been part of that journey in introducing the interoperability platform that has enabled both the telcos, the fintechs, and also the banks to work seamlessly to drive the cashless agenda to further digitize the economy.
The event was on the theme, Digitization, the key to unlocking the Ghanaian dream. It brought together stakeholders in the communications, financial, technology, academia, and the private sector.
You're still watching The Marketplace. Let's now cross over live to Parliament, where the Deputy Trade Minister, nominee Herbert Krampa, is answering questions regarding the One District, One Factory initiative.
And the entire operation of the union is something that I spend some of my free time enjoying and studying. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I see. All right. Now to some substantive issues, and maybe I'll start on the political note, since Honorable Obi Amwa says you are very political, for which reason he's excited about you, even though he's not so excited when others are very political. His Excellency the President, when he was campaigning to be president, made a number of promises. One was to change the face of the country in 18 months. I think his running mate was more specific. He said with the One District, One Factory, and 1 million per constituency, in 2 years, no village or community in Ghana will have any problem with water and all of that. One thing the president also spoke of was the nature of our economy, being a Goggisberg economy, and how perhaps he was going to transform that. As we speak, we still have a we still have economy that is backed by resource loans, resource-backed loans. We still have a situation where we are taxing less than we are spending. We still have the rigidities in the budgets and all of that. What will you say has been the achievement of the president in terms of keeping this promise of turning our economy from a Goggisberg economy to a modern economy? What exactly can you point to say that this is actually on the path for which you will support your minister at the Ministry of Trade to improve upon.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I believe that a lot is being done in that regard by the government of His Excellency the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. The industrialization vision is supposed to come together over a period of time. The policies are being put in place, the laws are being put in place, the strategic anchor pillars are being fashioned out. Some implementation has started already. The One District, One Factory program, the strategic anchor industries, the plan to create free zones, special economic zones, and industrial parks. These are all achievements, the automotive industry, to make Ghana a hub for the automotive industry in terms of West Africa. These are all developments that are geared towards achieving that vision. It's not going to happen overnight, Mr. Chairman, but when you see the evidence coming together, you see the factories coming up, you see the support being given to factories that are economically viable but are distressed, that are viable but economically distressed. You know that the government is on course, and the evidence shows that.
Well, and that's the ongoing vetting of the Deputy Minister Designate Herbert Krapap, who is currently answering matters regarding the One District, One Factory initiative and government's quest to industrialize. We shall keep a close eye on this one to give you updates as and when. But moving on, the African Continental Free Trade Agreement has entered its 6th month since implementation on January. Already, only 34 member states have ratified this trade treaty as investors eye the $3.5 trillion market value of this agreement. Well, the diplomatic community is eager to help with the trade and investment as partnerships have already been signed along this line. Let's listen to the American ambassador to Ghana, Stephanie Sullivan, on what America is eyeing out of this trade.
Of course, it helps burnish Ghana's credentials as the gateway to Africa. I had a very productive meeting with the Secretary General of the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat back in January to brainstorm a little bit about ways that when they're ready, we may be able to offer some technical support to help the implementation, which is never as easy as the ideas.
Exactly.
But also at the same time, we're working with Ghana and figuring out how we may be able to support Ghana's accelerated participation. But frankly, we're really excited about the AFCFTA because a larger market is going to be much more attractive to American investors. So not only will the intra-Africa trade be great for Africa, but having, a market of over 1 billion people instead of, either a particular country, 30 million, or an ECOWAS zone of maybe 300 million. This is just really getting a lot of people's attention. So we're eager to help it succeed, and we look forward to the positive impact it will have on Africa's growth and development and the trade relationship. Well, actually, just this couple of days ago, I was involved in a video conference with the President's Advisory Council on doing business in Africa, along with Minister of Trade and Industry, Cherry Matang. And that is a group that was formed back in the Obama administration and continued during the Trump administration and actually accompanied Secretary Ross to Ghana and 3 other countries back in 2018. So, I mean, I could just feel the enthusiasm jumping out of my computer screen with this group that was looking at various sectors that Ghana could foresee a good fit with American expertise and commercial prospects. The PAC-DBIA, as it's known, they're going to be putting together a report for President Biden on doing business in Africa, specifically citing some of the challenges and making some recommendations about ways to address the challenges, let's say, on both sides of the Atlantic.
And when is this report going to be ready?
I'll get back to you when it is.
Well,
the conversation we had helped inform their deliberations.
Let's now bring in the German ambassador to Ghana, Christoph Reslav, who says that some financial commitments are being made on the side of Germany to direct German investors into the Single African Pact.
We have seen a lot of German global players, global companies coming to Ghana, opening their regional offices for West Africa. So this is very promising. We had the German-Africa Business Summit, the signature event of the German-Africa business community here in Accra in 2019 for the very first time in West Africa. Big step forward here. And of course, the third pillar of our cooperation is economic and development cooperation. We have a substantial portfolio in our development cooperation. It's about 130 million euros per year. That has been increased significantly over the last 4 years. So I would say relations are closer and better than they have ever been.
We started this year with the Continental Free Trade Agreement area. I mean, we're looking at $3.5 trillion in value annually, but we have always been telling the story of African, member states being part of this. We haven't necessarily told the story of, foreign, establishments like Germany. What remains your contribution to the single market?
Now, first of all, the single market, the African Free Trade Continental area is, of course, a huge, big chance for Ghana and all the other African countries here. We have seen that in Europe when we created the single market in Europe and the European Union. It has been a big boost for our economic development in the whole of Europe. We see the same chances for the African continent. Of course, it's a long way to go. Now we are entering the phase of implementation of the ACFTA agreement. There are some considerable technical challenges in this process. And we, from the German side, we are happy that we are already in a kind of support cooperation with ACFTA in Addis Ababa via GIZ. And we are planning to do the same here in Ghana by offering our technical support to the ACFTA Secretariat here in Ghana.
All right. But when you say technical challenges, what exactly do you mean?
These are standards and measurements and export control, technical questions more or less. We are offering, as I said, support in Addis. We are offering already support here to the Ghanaian government, to the Ministry of Industry and Trade, and we are eager to work together with the Secretariat here in Accra. A huge chance for Ghana, and I'm very optimistic about it.
But what do you stand to gain out of this cooperation?
I think it's in all our interest that the economy in Africa booms. Africa is our neighbor continent, the closest continent to Europe, and the economic and social development in Africa is, of course, one of our key priorities.
Ambassador, we have started this year once again. I want you to help us understand your key priorities for 2021.
First of all, priority number one is, as I said, support Ghana in the fight against COVID, overcoming the challenges, the medical challenges with COVID, with the delivery of vaccines here. We will support via our international Gavi and COVAX initiatives. And then it's of course important to support Ghana and Ghanaian businesses in overcoming the economic.
Well, let's bring in up here Odumako of CATS International, as well as Frank Ajukumo of the Ghana International Trade Commission. Gentlemen, we're so grateful that you joined us. I want to start off with you, Mr. Odumako, from CATS International. We have seen the rollout of this single African market since the 1st of January amidst COVID-19. What has been the progress from your point of view?
The progress is remarkable. That the whole of a single market and exporting to other, they will tell you that things are better now than it used to be. At least when goods come from South Africa, they come under duty-free, quota-free, and that is good for businesses importing or doing business on that particular route. So I think that so far is good, but I would say that there's more that needs to be done. The level of the level of knowledge or awareness of AFCFTA is low among most Ghanaians. Yesterday, the Statistical Service published a data that about 35% of Ghanaian businesses are, only 35% of Ghanaian businesses are aware of the AFCFTA and the prospect of it. So I think there's more work that needs to be done at the national level so that we can kind of rope in all businesses, especially the MF, the small and medium scale enterprises.
Well, hold on that thought there for me, Mr. Dumako, because we also do have Mr. Frank Ejekum on the line for us. Mr. Ejekum, we're grateful as well that you joined us from the Ghana International Trade Commission. Of course, we do know that even though AFTA has taken off smoothly from the point of view of Mr. Dumako, there remain some challenges, some trade issues, standoffs here and there, matters regarding the rules of origin specifically, which currently has still not been mainstreamed to fit all sides of the divide. What exactly remains the existing issue surrounding this matter?
Well, thank you very much. And I couldn't agree more with Pierre Dumako that we have made some progress. I mean, don't let's forget that the whole AFTA thing took off under very trying circumstances when the COVID was at its peak. Many countries in Africa, as well as throughout the world, are beginning to recover. And so we should know that it will take time for us to get where we want to be. And also, really, with the free trade process, it was just signed about a year ago. And experts will tell you that we need to look at the long term, not at the short term. So in the short and medium term, we're going to flounder and succeed here, not succeed here, and move on as we are doing now. But by and large, we've done well. For instance, in Ghana, we've been able to export to two countries, to South Africa and to Guinea. And in South Africa, we exported under Casaprecon, and also to Egypt, to Guinea. Some cosmetics manufacturing industries also did export. So we are getting there. The thing to do with the terms of origin, they come in various classifications. There are about 3 different classifications have to be looked at. And these are very intense and delicate matters that need time to streamline. So yes, the experts are working on it. And I'm sure that in the near future, we should come out with a determination as to how we go. But even that notwithstanding, we are already on track. And as I said, Ghana has started. Egypt also tried to do something some time ago. So every country is trying to take the first steps that need to be taken. And I have no doubt that in some areas we'll succeed, in some areas will not be too successful, but that's how it should be, really. This is a long-term project, and anywhere it's been implemented, it does not come into fruition like in 1 or 2 or 3 years. We have to look at the long term.
All right, Mr. Dumako, of course, if you did listen to the excerpt of the interview that the German ambassador to Ghana, Ritzlaff, did state the fact that standardization remains one key challenge to the Continental Free Trade Agreement area. The U.S. ambassador to Ghana has also made it quite clear that this is a pact that is not going to be easy to fashion out in the medium to long term, even though it's laudable a project. From your point of view, CATS International, where do you see the prospects of this Continental Free Trade in the next 5 years, especially when so many, all of the member states are yet to, ratify this agreement?
Okay. So I see the prospect of AFCFTA in the next 5 years to be better now, better than today. This agreement has made countries that were not into production and exporting to other countries to kind of ramp up their manufacturing abilities. And so in the next 5 years, we will see more goods coming from African countries than in the past, where 85% of the goods that we see in this country were kind of imported from either Europe, Asia, or North America. So we'll see African participation in trade, and that alone is going to create economic opportunity for people in the continent, and it will also reduce strife and war and political instability. And I'm very hopeful and believe that in 10 years' time, future historians will be grateful to the decision taken by heads of state to have this free trade agreements.
All right, Mr. Appiah Dumako, we're so grateful that you took time to help us with the thoughts on this one. I want to end with you, Mr. Jokum, because we do know that even though the prospects are bright, existing challenges also suffice. So how do we balance our way out in the next 5 years?
Well, I believe that Africa has to find a way somehow to make this continental free trade work, because as far as I'm concerned, we have no other way to go as we look into the future than to join our economies as we are trying to do now. The whole world is coming together under such trade, multi-trading practices. I mean, how the EU already is such a huge success already. Even they keep on trying to tweak every now and then to make sure it gets better. We have enough time there in the North Americas where, I mean, even the big USA itself is still trying to be in partnership with Mexico and Canada and etc. So the Latin American countries have this. And so there's no other way for us to go but to make sure that this thing has come to stay and we make it work. And I'm sure that as we go along, I mean, there's the realization all over that that's what we need. And I believe that as we go along, things will get better for all of us. And after we play the role that we believe that it should play in our lives.
Mr. Jokum, we're so grateful that you joined us with your thoughts. He's the Executive Secretary of the Ghana International Trade Commission. Well, the Bank of Ghana is warning the general public against illegal trading in foreign currencies. The central bank says this is against the law. Charles Nixon-Yeboah has more.
In a release as part of its financial literacy education on Forex Bureau, the central bank said those engaged in the buying and selling of foreign currency without a license would be punished upon a summary conviction by a fine or a prison term of not more than 18 months or both. In that regard, the black market operator is an illegal foreign exchange dealer who does not have Bank of Ghana's license and thus must be avoided. It further said one will be required to provide identification documents before conducting any transaction with the Forex Bureau, and therefore any Forex Bureau that does not demand an ID card should be reported. The identification card includes passport, driver's license, voter's ID, and national ID card. Subject to availability, it continued saying one can foreign currency from only authorized banks and Forex Bureau after providing all relevant documentation. It cautioned consumers to be careful because one is likely to trade in fake currency, be drawn into money laundering, terrorist financing, or be attacked by armed robbers when one does business with a black market operator. It further added that the sole legal tender in the country is the cedi, and therefore it is prohibited to price, advertise, and demand for payment for goods and services in foreign currency. Meanwhile, the maximum amount per transaction at the Forex Bureau is $10,000.
Well, let's now bring you tips on how best to spend your money in our Money Lab series.
On Money Lab today, we continue our discussion on how micro, small, and medium-scale enterprises can position their companies in order to attract funding. In the previous edition, we discussed the business plan. For today, we are going to look at record keeping. No serious investor will put their money in any company that does not keep records. It is very important for companies to keep records of all their operations, and this is what they use to prepare their financial statements. These financial statements will give the investors the sense of the profitability and efficiency of the company. It is also important that these financials are prepared according to required standards and audited. Join us in our next edition as we conclude our discussion on how companies can position their businesses for funding.
I trust you took down some notes. That's how we end Marketplace. I'm Charles Aite. For more news, do log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Many thanks once again. Enjoy the rest of our programs.